It was a flawless Florida morning, mist rising off the lake like whispers from a secret flame, the only sounds the buzz of dragonflies and the occasional ripple of a fish. I was sipping black coffee on the screened porch of my cabin, watching Jaws, my 400-pound American alligator, bask at the edge of the dock. We'd lived this way for years, peaceful, free, off the grid. I'm Nathan Hayes, and this cabin was built by my father and me, plank by plank, long before Clearwater Pines sprouted with its cookie-cutter beige homes, pristine lawns, and overzealous HOA. Our place wasn't grand, but it was ours, steeped in history and, I thought, beyond the HOA's reach. I was wrong. The first salvo came in an envelope stamped with the HOA's logo, a smug little yacht. Inside, a letter on fancy cardstock. Your non-compliant structure violates Clearwater Pines community standards. You have 30 days to demolish or face legal action. Before I could process it, a black SUV with Clearwater Pines branding crunched down my gravel driveway. Out stepped Evelyn Carter, the HOA president, dressed like a yacht club general in white slacks and oversized sunglasses, flanked by two board members like bodyguards. "Mr. Hayes," she said, her voice sweet but venomous. "We thought it best to deliver the notice in person. Your cabin lowers property values." I replied evenly. "This structure predates your entire community. It's not part of your HOA." Evelyn smirked condescendingly. "The community voted last month to incorporate your parcel. Paperwork's filed. Perhaps your notice got lost." Before I could challenge her, Jaws lumbered up from the water. One of her lackeys yelped and stumbled back. Evelyn's eyes widened. "That's a wild animal." "Nope," I said, pulling out my laminated permit. "That's Jaws, licensed, microchipped, federally registered." She ignored the paper, muttering about health codes, and stormed back to her SUV. I thought that might be the end. It wasn't. Days later, a sign appeared at my driveway. "Coming soon. Lakeside Estates, luxury redefined." They wanted my land for a private marina and upscale cafe, and they were playing dirty. My friend Sarah, an environmental attorney, confirmed my rights. "They can't annex your land without consent, Nathan. But watch out, HOAs like this are notorious for harassment." She wasn't kidding. Within a week, my power was mysteriously cut. Then my water. Animal control showed up, citing an anonymous tip about an unlicensed alligator. The city inspector fined me for a half-inch gap in my porch railing. All roads led back to Evelyn. The breaking point came when Claire Mitchell, a biologist studying Lake Benton's ecosystem, paddled up in a kayak to request water samples. When I mentioned the HOA's plans, her face hardened. They've already ruined 2 wetland patches for their model homes. The runoffs killing fish spawning beds. That night, my lights flickered, then died. Someone had slapped an official-looking sticker on my power meter. "Hazardous equipment, do not restore." I laughed grimly. My dad taught me to be prepared. I switched on the solar panels, fired up the water generator, and activated the security system. Claire stayed over, helping me trace the sabotage. I showed her my father's blueprint built everything to endure, to mean something. She looked at me, serious. "They're not just erasing your home. They're rewriting this lake." The next morning, I caught HOA Vice President Roger Klein and a contractor trespassing, measuring my dock. They claimed it was routine compliance. I filmed it all. "This dock's been here 15 years, I told them. "Built to code, grandfathered in. Try me." That night, Claire and I sat on the porch as Jaws settled into his favorite sunning spot. The breeze carried the scent of rain. We were ready. This wasn't just about a cabin Anna Marie, it was war. They escalated quickly. One night, I woke to 3 inches of water on my cabin floor. It wasn't just a storm, someone had filled the drainage culverts with fast-drying cement. Claire and I spent 12 hours pumping water, saving what we could. The flooding warped the lower walls and ruined part of my father's original flooring. The next day, the city sent a compliance inspector, Victor Carter, Evelyn's cousin. He handed me a citation booklet thicker than a dictionary. Propane tank 6 inches off the approved line, handrail height non-compliant, dock exceeding reflective surface allowance. It was laughable, totaling $23,500 in fines. I called Sarah. "This isn't a violation list, it's a hit list." She agreed, filing a motion to pause enforcement while we gathered evidence. Claire contacted her university, bringing in 3 professors and a team of grad students to document environmental damage. They found wetland destruction, toxic water near HOA construction, illegal herbicide runoff, and violations of Florida conservation law. The real bombshell was that Evelyn had redrawn boundary maps filed with the county, illegally shifting shoreline lines to claim my dock. That gave us grounds to sue the HOA directly. We launched Operation Jaws. Sarah found an obscure law allowing habitat designation for protected species through a land trust. Claire and I formed the Benton Wildlife Trust, listing Jaws, an American alligator, as the representative inhabitant and filed for emergency ecological protection. The HOA was stunned when the county issued a notice halting all construction on their dock, pending environmental review. On the day, Evelyn hosted an investor preview for their Clearwater Marina Plaza. Sarah and a sheriff's deputy served her with a cease and desist order. News crews filmed as Claire presented water samples and sonar scans proving the HOA dock was harming a critical spawning ground. Then a literal storm hit. A summer thunderstorm rolled in, its high winds snapping the HOA dock like kindling. Half collapsed into the lake. Evelyn was on a platform when it tilted. I caught her before she fell in. "You just saved me," she whispered, eyes icy. "But I'll ruin you." She tried, but the court didn't buy it. The judge ruled our trust had legal standing, designating my land as critical habitat. The HOA's dock was ordered dismantled. Evelyn was stripped of her title. Interim President Tom offered peace, but it wasn't over. A whistleblower leaked internal emails showing Evelyn had embezzled HOA funds and used blackmail to silence dissent. She was indicted on 6 charges, including environmental fraud. 6 months later, Lake Benton was transformed. My cabin became a university research site, with local schools visiting to see Jaws. Our rebuilt dock used sustainable wood and solar lighting. The community voted to reform the HOA charter, closing eminent domain loopholes. I joined as environmental advisor. Claire moved into a cottage down the shore, our relationship growing beyond battlefields and courtrooms. Some nights, we sat on the porch, watching the moon rise over the lake, Jaws gliding through the reeds like a prehistoric sentinel. One evening, Claire asked, "Do you regret it?" I looked out at the water, at the place my father and I built, where our stories still lived. "Not for a second." She smiled, took my hand, and across the lake, a new sign gleamed in the fading light. Protected habitat. No trespassing. Resident species present. The HOA tried to take everything. Jaws and I took their dock instead.